4-2-3-1, 100% for me. First reason why is I'd have a look at all the players, see what formation they've been playing in the Premier League. I don't think at international level you have much time to go through loads of tactical side of it. And I would say probably most teams in the Premiership will play 4-2-3-1 or 1 and a 2 in midfield. Again, it's either with wide forwards or it's with inverted forwards. Again, that all comes down to the style of play and so on. So I would go with that shape just purely because of that. So most of my players are familiar with what we're doing. Simple as. Heart and goal, no question about it. I would go with Kale. Again, I'd go with him just from his experience. I sort of watch him. I think he's as quick as any of the other centre backs. I think he's quick. I think he's strong in the air. I also think that John Terry is one of the best centre backs that we've had in England, and he trains with him every single day. I think he has his leadership, and he's learning from the best all the time. Smalling, again, I think he's just had an unbelievable season. Playing for Man United, there's a lot of pressure. There's been a lot of talk about him. I've said it a few times in this already. I think he's been the most consistent player. Again, like you said, I think he can defend in wide areas because he has played a bit left and right. And Klein, 1v1, I think he's got better defensively. I think going forward he's just like a winger. I would get him to hug the touchline quite a lot, so make sure that he gives us a width down there. And I think, defensively again, I think he's been absolutely tremendous. 1v1 most of the season. I know he had that one game where everyone slaughtered him on Twitter and all that, saying I don't think he's going to play, but I think he's better than Walker at that. Left hand side, Rose, same reason again. I think he's played for Spurs. I don't think they've conceded many goals down his side this year compared to last year. I came across a stat with it. Defensively, he's quick, he's hard to beat, he's got stronger, he's got an unbelievable delivery. So he's going to give us width down this side. And if I wanted him to step in slightly, he could step in, which you'll see in a minute. If we were attacking down the other side. Endo, I've gone for that. Very similar to what I think everyone else chose. Good argument about Wilshere, because I think he can do both sides of it. What I'd do is I'd have this as my core. This would be my core where I'd say, right, these are the jobs. You're going to concentrate on the defending. If one of these step on, going back to what you say, if he steps on, we've got to look to cover the space. That would be my core. Loads of energy. Used to defending in these areas, so he could drop in. If he did get dragged wide, he can drop in as a centre-back, deal with what he's dealt with. Again, he's played everywhere. He can deal with left or right. You've got a real solid base to get through. It'd be tough to get through a central area there. So you'd be looking to go into wide areas. 1, 2 and 3 have all defended as centre-backs for a long time. So they'll be quite comfortable with that. And then going forward, if we are in control, he'd be the man to step on. And then he could slide in, so you would go to a 1 and a 2 in midfield, which we talked about there. So if you do get full control, he can go and play in higher areas, and then he can go and play in between the 2 centre backs and so on. So I think sort of the rotation between them would be quite comfortable. And I think again you've got loads of pace, and they can deal with these areas here if the full backs do go on. But that would be my core, and they'd be set with a defensive structure saying this is what I want you to do. That comes back to your point of the players who are playing in front. They're going to be my hat. They're going to be the ones that go and be creative and go and do everything. I'd go with Rooney. I've had a question mark over that, but I just think Rooney's been there, and I think somewhere in your team you have to have somebody who's been there and done it a million times. I think he'd be my captain again. I also think he's got something in him. I think there's going to be something magic from him. I really do. I think you're going to see the old Rooney a little bit. I think he's going to create a bit of magic for us. On the plus side as well, he works, I think, 12 kilometres a game. He works harder than anybody. So if we're under the cosh, he can drop in. If we're in total control, he can go get in the areas that he's been in since he was a kid. He can have a rotation with my forward. He can go wide. He can defend in wide areas. He can just do everything that you want him to do. And that's why he's playing there for me. I know there's a couple of question marks on Rooney, to be fair. I'd start with, obviously, Kane. I'll put all these in actually now. Go with Sturridge and Sterling. I think between all them, they can either play the 9 between them, they can either play in the pocket, all right, and I think they're all quite comfortable defending in wide areas as well. So Sterling's used to defending out here. Sturridge could do a little bit, which could be a bit vulnerable in. Rooney can do either. These could rotate. They can have a little bit of a rotation. But what I'd really focus on is these three working together, and then Sterling making a decision whether he gives us loads of width, so he's moving into his area. So what I would say is, and I know this is going into a tactical side of it, whichever side he's on would attack down that side, or our fullback would go into a wide area. And then all we'd do is it lets him go be forward and go play them areas, and then that's where these would shuffle across and protect the area that is left. And then if he swaps sides, I'd do the same thing. Very similar to Spurs. If you watch Spurs on how they do it, it's Ericsson or Ali, whichever one's doing the floating role. What they'll do is the two holding players then go protect the space that they've left and go from there. That's what I'd go with to start with. The balance between it as well. You can get him to go play wider if you want to get down the sides, because I think you hit on it there. I don't know if anyone's seen his delivery into the box. It's absolutely next to none. And actually you find that strikers know how to deliver a ball because that's the ball that they want. And then obviously you've got your rotation between these two. If you want to play narrow and you're in full control, off goes your fullbacks. That's it for me.